Hello, it's Peter Wright and Kathleen Beauvais with another episode of the Yakking Show. And this is the first one for 2025. So a happy new year to you, and we wish you all the best in health, wealth, happiness, and of course, peacefulness for the new year. With that, let's get going and welcome Kathleen. Hi, Kathleen. How are you today?
I'm doing great, Peter, and Happy New Year, everybody. And so glad that you can make it with us. And I echo every word of what Peter said. I wish you all the very best for this coming year. So thank you again for tuning in.
Good. Well, it's nice to be back in the
Yeah,
saddle or
sure
either
is.
side of the microphone and camera again. We've missed it for 2 weeks. It's been a bit quiet, hasn't it,
I
Kathleen?
know, we're so used to the routine of
Yeah.
our shows and interviewing guests that it felt lost to me. I felt lost.
You're absolutely right. And all sorts of things have happened politically,
Hmm.
climate-wise, been earthquake, all sorts. But we won't go into all that. We want to talk about what's happening on the show. But first, as always, Kathleen, why don't you dive into your health topic?
Well, Peter, this is kind of interesting. And we've talked about Alzheimer's. We've had some absolutely fascinating guests on the show that talked about Alzheimer's disease. And if anybody is interested in this topic, I urge you to go back and listen to those episodes, especially the ones with Robin Smart, Peter, right?
Yep.
She was just incredible and full of knowledge. But today, and specifically, I'd like to talk about how blood pressure can influence your risk of having Alzheimer's disease. So
Interesting.
that's blood pressure issues is something that a lot of people are having trouble with. So it says here, and by the way, this story comes from from Dr. Mercola's website, and we will put a link to that article so that you can read it in its entirety. Just to give you a story at a glance, basically, it says here that high blood pressure affects nearly half of American adults. So it's huge, it's prevalent. A study shows that it increases the risk of Alzheimer's disease by 42% if left
Wow.
untreated, compared to those who don't have hypertension. So how it works is that blood pressure damages the brain's capillaries when it's elevated, causing blood clots, leakage, and restricted blood flow. And this is what actually leads to cognitive issues and even stroke. So normal blood pressure is about 120 over 80. And for accurate readings, it says to measure it lying down in the evening after resting for 20 minutes. Did you know that, Peter?
No, not at all. I didn't. That's a new one on me. I do mine when I get back from my walk in the morning, sitting at the kitchen table literally within 10 minutes of getting back from my walk. So
Right.
whether I don't know how accurate my reading is.
You might want to try that, taking it lying down in the evening after resting for 20 minutes.
I'll do that.
But they're also saying that vitamin D deficiency increases blood pressure by affecting this renin-angiotensin aldosterone system. Don't ask me what that is. I'm just saying that it affects that system. That's why vitamin D deficiency increases blood pressure. And it says
Right.
here that studies have shown that people have higher blood pressure during the winter months. I didn't know that.
Mm,
And it says here, contrary
no.
to common medical advice, reducing salt intake only temporarily affects blood pressure and can lead to mineral imbalances affecting vascular relaxation and stress levels. So I think people are so paranoid about sodium intake, but I think really it's the sodium that you get from processed foods. If you're at home and making most of your food and you salt your food, I don't think it's really a problem. It's again from processed foods, right? And by the way, Peter, there was something else that I read today, just this morning. Again, it's from Dr. Mercola's site, and it has to do with Alzheimer's. But it said here, and I don't know if you've heard this, but it said methylene blue developed. It's been developed by a UK-based company, which is a modified, sorry, I should backtrack and say that a modified version of methylene blue, which was developed by a UK-based company, has been patented for Alzheimer's treatment. They had clinical trials of this, and they've reported an astounding 80% reversal of Alzheimer's symptoms in participants. So that highlights methylene blue's ability to not only halt, but also reverse cognitive decline. So
Mm.
I would like to find out where to get methylene blue. If any of you know out there, I'd love to know, because it says here specifically that you should be taking pharmaceutical grade and be careful about the source of your methylene blue. It's not sold on Dr. Mercola's site, I don't think. I didn't see it, but I'm wondering if maybe a naturopathic clinic might have it, or
Mm.
yeah. So anybody out there who knows, please let us know. I'd love to hear.
I would guess a pharmaceutical company that supplies analytical products would have it because I'm going back 50 years when I was dairy farming when I first left school, that one of the tests our milk was subjected to when it went to the milk processing plant was a methylene blue test, and that as far as I can recall, that indicated the keeping qualities of your milk, and if you had a low score on the methylene blue test, your milk was downgraded. So but that's all I know about methylene blue. When you mentioned it first when we were talking earlier, that's what triggered my memory of methylene blue. We will find out more and report back to you, everybody.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
by the way, Peter, I just want to give Dr. Moore's products another plug. Of course, he is a wonderful mentor for us, but he has the most amazing products. And today, what I wanted to give you a plug for is the Dr. Moore's Heal All Tea. And it's a beautiful tea. It's actually very earthy, wonderful smelling. I don't know if I can show it to you here, but yeah, it's
Yeah, we can see
tea
it.
that you can steep for maybe 7 minutes. That's all you need. And it's great for general maintenance as it assists the body's natural detoxification process. It's formulated with burdock, with dandelion and slippery elm. It's a great digestive tea, and it's just basically just a fraction of the healing potential of this herbal detox blend. It's just amazing. Um, the tea incorporates herbs aligned to whole body detoxification, as I said, and renewal. It includes butcher's broom for circulatory support, black walnut and golden seal to promote the removal of unwanted organisms from the gut, and white oak and mullein to astringe is an interstitial fluid and promote lymphatic flow. It's pretty powerful lymphatic flow, a drainage cocktail,
Mm.
anyways. So that's Heal All Tea once again, and we will provide a link to this product in our video. And if you put in the code Yakking Show, you will also get a discount on all of Dr. Morse's products. So that's it from me, Peter.
Good. I
What's
just wanted
happening
to
with
add,
you?
well, on this whole dementia thing, I wanted to add something that I read, and I need to go back and refer to it in more detail. I just picked up the headline. There was a case where the woman who's writing the article, her mother had been diagnosed with dementia and had suffered for some years with all the symptoms of dementia. And they said, sorry, she's in this cognitive decline. She's not going to get better. She went into hospital for a procedure for something totally unrelated, I believe, to the dementia. And they detected that she had a leak from her spinal cerebral fluid. I can't remember the details of where it was leaking from. When they fixed that leak, they fixed the dementia. Within weeks, all the symptoms went. She got back completely to normal. So it begs the question: how many dementia or Alzheimer's diagnoses are based on incorrect evidence and perhaps are condemning people to a life that could be avoided by more tests? I don't know. I don't know the answer to that question, but it's certainly something we will be looking into in a bit more detail, right, Kathleen?
Well, absolutely. And the other thing is, Peter, as we learned from Robin Smart, is that Alzheimer's disease isn't diagnosed through what most people would think through MRI scans or
Oh,
anything like that. They go based on symptomology,
yep,
right?
yep, yep,
And
yep.
and so in this lady's case, this poor lady's case, she probably displayed a lot of those symptoms, and there you go, diagnosis made. And but in fact, she had this leakage of cerebral spinal fluid. And in fact, we are going to be interviewing someone coming up very soon.
That's right.
And he will be talking about traumatic brain injuries and in fact some leaky brain is I think the term he used. So
Yes, so we will explore it more when we have him on the show in a few weeks' time.
yeah.
Yeah, great, Kathleen. So let's tell you what's been happening on the show this week. Well, we got back into the swing of things by publishing an episode on Tuesday, our first one for 2 weeks. And our guest in this episode was Catherine Corona. She is has a doctorate in theology and I think a master's in divinity. She studied all of the six major religions of the world, and she teaches meditation and mindfulness and presence. But she's a very interesting lady and well worth watching if you are troubled about your purpose in life, religion, spirituality. Listen to the episode or watch the episode, and I think you'll find quite a lot of good information there to help you. So who's coming up? Well, next week we are on our 2 weekly schedule for guest interviews. So on the 14th, I think it will be. On the 21st of January, our guest will be Jenny Powers, who will be talking about the origins of being. And she looks at the problem we've created for ourselves by evolving more quickly in a societal and technological evolution than we have in a physical or biological evolution. So what she's saying is we've adapted our lifestyle to eating 21st century food and living a 21st century stressful go 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 lifestyle with bodies that are designed for 1,000 years ago type lifestyle, and the two don't match, and this is why we develop a whole lot of problems. That's a very simplified idea of what she has to talk about. The other thing that really impressed me in the talk is she talks about the nature of work and how lifestyles in the Western, certainly in the Western countries, we tend to work far longer than our hunter-gatherer ancestors used to work. We work far more hours a day than our hunter-gatherer. It sounds counterintuitive, but she gives all the facts to point that out. It's a very, very interesting episode. And following her, in the first one in February, will be Professor Keith Ellis, who will be talking about natural remedies. And also, he's done a great study into the effects of long COVID or post-viral symptoms, where some
Mhm.
people recover from virus, flu, other virus infections very quickly, but a fairly significant percentage of people take months to actually recover from these symptoms. And he explains why that is and of course, what you can do about it. So that's another interesting one coming up. But the book of the week is we're going to talk about the cupping book by Dr. Tom Ingenio, who was our guest towards the end of last year. It's an ancient practice. Cupping has been used for 5,000 odd years from China and Asia, originally with animal horns and then with glass cups, and now with silicone or plastic cups. And very simple, you can do it at home and has amazing benefits for sore muscles. So that's what our book of the week is. There'll be links to all these things in the description. And I think, Kathleen, that's about it for me. Except, of course, we've got to talk about our Facebook group, which we started just before the holidays. We're inviting all of you to join our Facebook group. The purpose of the group is so our guests and our audience can interact with one another. If you've seen one of our guests that you'd like to find out more about, you can go to our Facebook group and ask them questions directly. So that's the purpose of the group, and we'd encourage you to join up. And that's it for me. Back to you, Kathleen.
And that's it from me as well, Peter. Thank you again, once again, for tuning into our show. And until next week, take care, everyone. Bye bye.